How to make a Jason Bourne movie. Step 1, you get an old angry white dude who works for the CIA or NSA and has a horrible secret he must protect, like there's any other kind working for the government. Step 2, Bourne is somehow pulled out of hiding. Step 3, one of the young cyber agents working for the old angry white dude has to say, "That's Jason Bourne." Then somebody else has to say, "Why did he come out of hiding now?" And then there's gotta be a girl, a vaguely evil European agent who fights Bourne. The girl gets shot, the secret is revealed, roll the credits and cue Moby. Okay, you may think this is an oversimplification, but if that was a drinking game, try it. By the end of the movie, if one of those things happens and you take a shot every time, you will be trashed. Actually, I wouldn't recommend drinking. One steady cam fight scene directed by Paul Greengrass and vomiting is inevitable. While Paul Greengrass has done very well after he inherited the Bourne franchise from director Doug Liman, the original, and only the original, had some of the best hand-to-hand fight scenes ever put to film. But in the sequels, let's just say enough with the handheld camera already. It's like watching Cloverfield in a centrifuge. Now, while I can't stand the cinematography or Steadicam of these hand-to-hand fight scenes, I was disappointed that there weren't more in this latest Bourne sequel, especially because they're the most memorable. They're the ones where Bourne can dispatch a guy with a pen, a magazine, or a towel. There may not have been enough hand-to-hand fight scenes, but the rest of the action was very well done. The car chases especially were very cool and choreographed. And while the rest of the action really brings that tension that we've come to know and love about Bourne, it's everything else we've come to know and love about Bourne. You want a solid action flick where Bourne kicks ass and shows his ingenuity? You've got it. You want an original action flick, or even a story that brings something new to the Bourne legacy? Look elsewhere. The writers did try to bring a little something new into Bourne's backstory, but unfortunately it was very little, and it also follows this bizarre modern trend when it comes to our heroes. And this trend can be found in such great classics as Amazing Spider-Man or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, I'm worried too. It's not enough for Peter Parker to be randomly bitten by some radioactive spider. No, his parents have to be involved in some superpowered conspiracy. It's not enough for April O'Neil to one day bump into the Turtles. No, she had to have raised them. And it's not enough for Bourne to be the best in any spy program. No, his father had to initiate the very program that he's a part of. I say it's a modern trend when in actuality it's a very old trend, as in ancient mythology. You think about demigods who are destined to fight monsters and win wars, but the modern resurgence of that trend speaks slightly to the entitlement of today's society and really lessens the accomplishments of any hero. I know the writers are trying to make the heroes more special, but in fact they're making the heroes not. I felt that the worst writing came when generic European evil agent, or the Asset, played by Vincent Cassel, was really shoehorned into Bourne's backstory. It served no purpose except to really create some more bad blood between Bourne and the Asset. It wasn't just shoehorned, they were lopping off toes just to make it fit. And didn't this guy learn not to mess with Damon in Oceans 12 and 13? It really didn't add any tension to the movie whatsoever. In fact, it lessened the tension simply because it was so forced it took me out of the movie. So please, fellow writers, stop forcing destiny. Stop forcing connections that aren't really there, or you could be the very next "Are you for real?" I will praise one aspect of the writing, and that is the subplot, because typically in a Bourne movie the subplot is completely ignored simply because it's not relevant. But for once, they created one that is terrifyingly relevant. Oh Christ, another Donald Trump joke? Actually, this one's closer to a Hillary joke. Even in Canada, we are not free from the government monitoring something as seemingly innocent as social media. And I, for one, feel safer as a result. I am 100% behind the government doing this because since I have nothing to hide, I feel that the government has our best interests in mind. Having the subplot of a social media billionaire be a government puppet was current and apt. For the first time in this franchise, I thought, but once again, it was just kind of shoehorned in there. It was underused, almost tragically so. Sadly underused and currently apt? Sounds like Tommy Lee Jones. Okay, half of it. I'm not taking anything away from Jones's career. Maybe except Batman Forever, but the fact of the matter is, while he might have had an amazing career and gave a fairly solid performance, As I prefaced before, it could have been any old, angry white guy. They're almost interchangeable, and so I felt, why did that have to be Tommy Lee Jones, especially considering he really played his performance quite safe? And of course, you can exchange any old, angry white guy for the Black Ops program that he's trying to keep hidden. I mean, how many of these things keep popping up? I think the franchise has pretty much run its course, and I say that because after almost a decade in between Bourne films, and I mean the real Bourne, not that Hawkeye stuff, and after almost a decade, they bring it back, and you kind of question, why though? Why now? Why remake the same movie you pretty much already made about 4 times before this? If you want originality, it's a burn it. But if you like all the other Jason Bourne movies, like me, it's just enough to be an earn it. Because once again, in a sequel, the directors and writers play it safe. Poll question, what's your favorite Matt Damon film? As always, leave your answers in the comment section below. Be sure to subscribe to Real School, follow me on Twitter, and of course, if you get anything out of Real School, click that link. What are you waiting for? Give a little back. Become a member of my Patreon team. But until next time, school's out.